Gizdodo, which is a very beautiful gizzard dish.
Foodies inside.
I have just rinsed the gizzard. I will begin to cut them into bite size. I had to make it a bit smaller so that it will be almost the size of the plantain when I cube the plantain. Onions into the gizzard, some white pepper, some salt, some thyme here, and dried oregano. In goes 2 seasoning cubes and some ginger. I'm going to turn the cooker on. So I'm going to stir on this. Stir, stir, stir. And allow it cook. Now, something you must know about gizzard, for you to cook the perfect gizzard, it must not be rubbery, like feel like rubber. So by the time you cook gizzard, you fry it, it gives this rubbery feel that the texture I really do not like so much. Maybe some of you like it. So what I do is cook it till done, then slightly brown, not fry, slightly brown before you add your pepper and everything to make the sauce. I'm going to cover this now and begin to chop my other ingredients. I'll process the fresh pepper and some of the onions. 2 cloves of garlic is just fine. And process. Then I will cut this one into tiny bits as well. That's the bell peppers. So I have my yellow bell peppers here. Then the red, then the green. I'll be using 2 carrots and I think it's just fine. I'm going to be adding some water to the gizzard now. I did not add water the first time. I allowed it to cook in its own water. Now, this is a technique that allows your seasoning to go into the meat very well. This is the part where we ask that we should all do a research and find the person who thought of Gizdodo. Yes, because growing up, I know 1 chicken, 1 gizzard. So how many chicken do they have to kill to get all the plenty gizzard that they used to do Gizdodo? So I believe this recipe is not a 1970 recipe, neither is it an 80s recipe or 90s, or maybe it could be from mid-90s to this time. So let's look for the first woman or man that decided that let me gather plenty Gizardo and use it to do Gizdodo. Yeah? All right. Of course, don't forget to keep stirring. The worst thing that can happen to you is after you have cooked very good meat, it can't go burn. It's a very, very heartbreaking thing. Yeah, so always have your eyes on what you are cooking, all right, especially meat, because you don't want that burnt taste. I have my plantain here. Plantain is very expensive these days. You don't want to know how much we bought this tiny plantain. How much did you buy it? 1,000. Yeah. This plantain is supposed to be like 300 naira. So about 200 naira safe. I cut it into julienne, then cube it. Our gizzard is dried now. The water is dried, and I'll add my vegetable oil. Now you are just going to eyeball it, enough to slightly brown the gizzard, and also when I get to add the peppers. So slightly brown, this is good. I'll add the pepper, onions, and garlic I processed. Stir on this. So I'm going to be adding a sachet of Tasty Tom tomato mix. It is fortified with added vitamins. Vitamin A, D, E, and K. We'll stir on that. Now, because I want it to stop frying, I'm going to cover it. All right, that will cook for about 4 minutes. So lush, beautifully lush, because of the tomato mix that has gone in. Looks really beautiful. Cooks for 1 more minute, then I'll add the vegetables. I'll add some oil to the pan. This should be enough to fry the plantain. So I'm going to turn the cooker on. Allow it heat up for a while before I add the plantain. So these have been cooking on low heat. And then in goes my carrots, And then goes my bell peppers in no particular order. Yellow, green, red. That looks really beautiful. Alright, those watching me on TV, I always tell you, if you are not following me online, please do. You see, I am actually talking to my people who are watching me live on Facebook, Foodies and Spice. Yeah, so if you are not following me on Foodies and Spice, please do. It's a Foodies and Spice with the verified badge, that's the blue tick, okay? I can read you guys now. Linda Aigbeme is saying, looks good. Destiny Phillips says, it looks good. Oh, I'm hungry. Thank you, Sammy Akoji. Say, wow, I just swallow saliva. All right, guys, let me know where you are watching from, what country, what state, what town. This is good. Plantain is frying. This really, really looks good. So I'll put it back on low heat to cook. I'm not covering it. I'm taking my spoon to stir on the plantain. Now, what are we eating with this? We are eating it with rice. Yeah, wash the rice. It's basmati rice, so I don't need to parboil it. I'm just rinsing it once. All right, guys, my rice is rinsed. Like I said, I'm using basmati rice, so I do not need to parboil it. And into the pot it goes. Add some salt, then cover it to cook. We'll be checking on our plantain now, and it's getting to that golden brown. This should take about another 30 seconds to 1 minute and it's ready. I'm going to send the plantain into the pot of gizzard. I do not need to drain it in a paper towel or something else. You can just go from your frying pan into the gizzard. All right, so here is a very interesting point where you marry the Gizdodo inside the sauce with plantain. It is a wonder in the mouth. It's not only beautiful, but it tastes amazing. Once you add the plantain, it shouldn't really cook for longer than 1 minute. All right, so I've got spring onion for garnishing. I'll cut off that tip. Rinse it out. Make sure you do not have any sand. You have to rinse it properly. We don't want sand in our food. Chop the spring onion. Then sprinkle it as a garnish on this. Looks really beautiful. Stir on that one more time. All right. So our rice is ready now. Food done. Time to serve. This looks so good. I do not know what to say, but this looks so good. I don't even know if to dig in, but it's so good. And the taste, let me eat it and tell you. Oh. So perfect. That Gizdodo, that rubbery thing, is not here at all. Now take this as a warning again. If you want to enjoy your Gizdodo, make sure you don't fry it till it turns rubbery. Just slightly brown it, then you do whatever you want to do with it. This is so good. I'm eating it with the rice now. The sweetness of the plantain, the lushness of this Gizdodo.
If you like this video, please give me a thumb up, share and comment. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do click on the subscribe button and notification bell to enjoy more of my recipes.